Hello and welcome. My name is Paula Robbins, and I am the founder of Consciouspreneurs International. And I'm so grateful today to be here with my dear friend, Jerri Doran. So Jerri and I met several years ago. I went to one of the metaphysical fairs here in Denver, Colorado, from the Celebrations Metaphysical Fairs. And I love to go to these fairs and look around the room and kind of see where the light is and go meet with a healer or a reader. And Jerri just shined like across the room. So I went over and I did a healing session with her and have done several since then. So very, very honored to have my dear shaman friend, Jerri Doran, with us today. Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you, Paula. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for providing the space and for allowing me a chance to share with you.
Of course. Yeah, I think that your message and your gifts are just so valuable in the world. And I know that the work that you've been doing it for a long time. I know that's very near and dear to your own heart and soul. So, one of the most, I think, curious things that people are interested in is what's your history? What's been your path? How did you come to know your gifts? How did you become a professional in the field as far as this is what you do for a living?
Yes, thank you. It's been quite the journey, and of course, a lifetime one. And I always had the urge to help heal, to just help others. I think it took me a long time to be ready to fully accept the fact that I was a healer. And it's not something that's a choice that you make, like choosing to be a nurse or choosing to be a doctor or choosing to be a therapist. A healer is just something that is an innate part of who you are. And so it kind of came gradually in dribs and drabs. I took therapeutic touch in the 90s, learned how to do ear candling. I did detox foot baths. Then I started taking Reiki. And that was when I kind of really started to understand, okay, this is something that I maybe need to be sharing with the world in a different or bigger way. And then my Reiki teacher decided to teach the shamanism and wouldn't leave me alone until I took the classes. And so had no clue what was coming down the pike. I just knew I wanted to help. And it has just been a journey of following spirit. The plan was not to do this at all, but it found me, and I'm so grateful, just so grateful.
Well, as am I, and so many people that you have served, because you work as a healer and as a shaman. You're highly intuitive. I've always loved the exchanges that have come from within and from above. And I also know that you've got some teachings. You're teaching others on the same journey. So there's a lot of diversity to how this path has really grown for you. And as you reflect back, I know that for many people, there's kind of one of those more deepened experiences or kind of a moment of awakening. Is there a moment like that was more confirming, like, I'm going to do this professionally now? This is the new clear path forward.
Yes, I think, and there have been certainly so many memorable experiences on a personal level along the way. If I were to look for a defining moment, it would be shortly after I had finished my initial training for the shamanic work and had a very talented, gifted healer step forward and offer to be my mentor. And it kind of sent shockwaves through my world. I could certainly share a lot of, deeply personal moments from a spiritual perspective, but I think that was the one that made it evident to me, okay, there's no turning back. You have received your training, and just a couple of months later, this incredible man, his name is Clark St. Dennis. I will be eternally grateful to him, and also Ginger and Dale Lee, my shamanic training teachers, for stepping forward and helping me to see that this is a path I'm meant to take. And so the day that he offered to do that for me, it's one of those things you just kind of feel it deep down inside. And okay, here we go. And so I buckled my seatbelt and here I am today.
Wow. Awesome. And you've also gotten to share in some of those deeper awakenings with some of the people that you've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a story of somebody that you've worked with that has had kind of a really profound shift, and that you've had that same honor of really walking with them as this shift took place for them.
Thank you. So, there's one that has always stood out for me, that has always touched me deeply, and that would be a soul retrieval that I performed on a woman a number of years ago. And she came to me that day, a young woman, so much wanting to be a mother and having a hard time getting pregnant. Her and her husband were doing all of those things, the IVF, and she was having, struggles and miscarriages, and it just was not something that seemed to be manifesting in her life. And so she had come to see if there was a spiritual healing that could perhaps help. And what happened through the course of that session that day was that we did a soul retrieval. And that is a shamanic practice that's thousands and thousands of years old, where we have parts of self that leave and splinter as a result of trauma that occurs. And then it can carry it on for lifetime and lifetime and lifetime if we don't heal and bring back that soul part. So we did that soul retrieval. And I've never done one like it before and never done one like it since. The difference being that when I brought back that soul part, it was a young woman. And I was told as I was bringing the soul part back that she was pregnant. And so in essence, there were two souls that were being brought back. And she had been trying to get pregnant for 7 years. And 3 months later, I found out that she was expecting. And I follow her and her family now on Facebook. She has a little boy he's probably 8 now. And that was one of the ones that has always, as I said, just touched me deeply and stayed with me.
Yeah. I love the work of soul retrieval. I do the same work in a different form. I facilitate it while they call back their own energy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of guide them to do that and have the experience of how the soul becomes more whole. Mm-hmm. And how the soul welcomes back a wounded part and allows it to heal. Yes. Is just such a fascinating thing to witness. It's so very honoring to.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It sure is. Yes. Yeah. And
so you've done this now for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that on a professional level, on a business level, there's been some challenges for you. Could you speak to any of the challenges that you have had as a conscious entrepreneur?
Sure. I think one that probably, is has been most a prevalent theme for me, and I think that's one that's so common to those of us out there who are doing this kind of thing, and that is work-life balance. You have to be willing to be in it for the long haul. And so for many years, I worked full-time still in corporate and did weekends and evenings. And then I've been able to go part-time with a corporate thing. But just, being able to find that work-life balance to, do the dedication, to be there, to grow the work. That has absolutely been one of the things that I find more challenging. It's been interesting to find my place as a healer within the business community. And part of that is something that I think healers often, it's a common theme among us. And that is, just that hesitation to charge for what we do, that we, it would certainly be nice if we could, always offer our services for free, but we're living in a world where, our exchange is money. And so, finding that balance as well. Sometimes I've looked deep within many times, done a lot of healing work on my own for my own personal journey to find that good balance as well. So I think those would be a couple of things that stand out.
I agree with that. I think that's probably been one of my greater challenges too. And as much as I know and practice in the realm of attraction and manifesting and really healing whatever may be holding me back from receiving, and I've fared very well through many of my own consciouspreneur efforts, but there's still just that one piece of I just want to share it with the world and I don't want to monetize it. So I think that's a very common theme. And one of the many, many reasons that I created the effort of Consciouspreneurs International is to really allow so many of us to unite in that area of let's get clear on what is our path. Let's get clear on what is our message. Let's support each other as we make a larger impact, and let's prosper so that we can continue to grow our impact and our message and our own inner wisdom.
Yes, indeed.
Let's do it together.
Yeah.
So what would be, this is always my favorite question in the interviews, what would be a piece of advice that you would offer to other consciouspreneurs?
One thing that I talk often about when I work with people, and it certainly applies here, is follow the energy, follow the flow. Where are you being led? Where is the ease of movement? It's a topic that I could warm to easily, then add into that, that balance of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, which is so much a part of manifestation. When is that moment to take action? And when is that moment to sit back and simply allow yourself to receive? I find that as I have walked this path and allowed these unexpected things to come to me, my life has just blossomed in such incredible ways. And so that's something that I feel is so important. And, if you're banging your head against the wall, that means the energy's not moving. And so step back, look for that window, look for that other door. Where is the energy flowing? And another thought that I have is be patient. It takes time. It takes time. And it's, we live in such a fast food culture. I mean, we are so used to instant gratification, and that certainly isn't something that's going away anytime soon. But to build something real, to build a foundation, to build something that's going to last, we want to give the universe space to create that in the way that it needs to, and that takes time. And then maybe the last thing that I would share is being heart-centered. Another thing that I speak to people about often is that the head has the knowledge, but the heart holds the wisdom. And when we can marry those, that's where the magic happens.
Beautiful. And so very true. I think that's probably been one of my harder lessons this year, is I've got a lot of different technical knowledge and information about what can make things flow. But when you talk about the patience piece, this year has been an incredible year for me, 2020. And there's been many moments of just, there's no flow. I have to stop. I have to honor all that I am and be with my own healing. And the world didn't end. The world didn't stop. It was still just, another part of the flow of the journey and of moving back into that heart wisdom.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So share with us, tell people, how can they find you? What is the best way to get in touch with you? Is there, what are the offerings that you have at the current moment?
Thank you. So the easiest way to access me is through my website, and that is shamanwings.com, ShamanWings.com. wings.com. And on there, I have contact information, email address, phone number. You're always welcome to text, to email. I also have a channel on YouTube where I have, at this point, we have only audio recordings. I've got meditations and guided journeys, shamanic journeys. I'm also on an app called Insight Timer, which is a very popular app and has been a wonderful, wonderful platform for me. Certainly, YouTube is wonderful as well. And, on YouTube, well, both of them really, I mean, you're just a drop in a great big ocean. However, the audience at Insight Timer is just delightful. And so I also have some offerings on there. I work several fairs along the Front Range of Colorado in the spring and the fall. That's another good way to get in touch with me or to, connect. And I teach the medicine wheel, which is a time-honored ancient tradition in shamanic cultures. A very personally transformational journey. I also do some one-day classes. I teach one-day shamanism basics and one-day shamanic journeying workshop. And I'm also branching out and doing some new things and have a couple of platforms that I'm utilizing for that. One is the Zoom, and that is basic energy management. And so I'm trying to incorporate some of the teachings that derive from my specialized energy medicine teachings and tailor them for this modern day world. I'm doing one in January on a website called Rise and Thrive Collective for highly sensitive children, to help parents navigate that and to identify and then to give them tools to help work with it and work with the children. And so, please visit my website, visit my YouTube channel, and reach out if you'd like.
And are the efforts, the teaching, and all of the other, like the Insight Timer link and all of that, are they on your website? If we were to go to shamanwings.com? Okay, great. Yes. Great. And that will be both on the intro and the outro of this video and on my YouTube and Facebook channel. People will find your link to get a hold of you. So, well, gosh, what a pleasure. I'm so, so grateful for you and the work that we've done together, and just to know you and walk with you on the path of, being a conscious entrepreneur and a healer and doing our best to serve the greater good and really just help people in whatever that looks like.
Well, thank you very much, Paula. This is an honor. It's a pleasure. I'm just so enriched to have the opportunity to share the path with you. And to all of you who have a chance to listen to this today, I thank you as well. And I thank you for the work you're doing, Paula.
You bet. Thank you so much, my friend. Such
You're welcome.
An honor to have you here.
Namaste.